Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kitchen Speakers podcast. I have a special guest today. But first, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the notification bell. What's up, Chef? I got Chef Daniel Watkins here. How are you?
Yeah, good man. How you doing? You all right?
Good. So tell me a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I'm UK based in London. Um, so currently working almost freelance at the moment. So doing a lot of consultancy, pop-ups, that kind of thing. Looking to probably settle down towards the end of the year with a restaurant again. But as for everybody, everything's been very much up in the air, hasn't it, the last year? Well, I've been cooking now for about 25 years. I know it's hard to say. I did look about 21. Do I fart? Yeah, cooking a long time. It's been the last few years that I've started working a lot with fire, which is very much where I'll be going now. That's been really, that's been almost like the next chapter. So it's been a couple of years doing that now, and that's something I really enjoy. So going forward, there's going to be a lot more fire cooking.
When you're creating a dish, how do you approach it?
A couple of key steps is sort of working with the seasons. So, working with what's best and what's going on out there. And then keeping it simple and flavor. First and foremost, flavor. Things have got to naturally kind of work together. The plating of everything comes at the very end of it. So basically what's in season, looking at what you've got in your larder with your sort of all your pickles and your ferments and all the other bits and bobs you're doing, and incorporating some of that into what you're doing to enhance the flavor of things. And then, the last step, once it's all been tasted and pulled apart, is how it comes together on the plate. And again, that comes back to keeping things really simple and trying not to mess around too much. I mean, more so now than ever before, things are getting simpler now. I get a lot from plating simply now. I think less is definitely more now. But behind a lot of that, there's a lot of technique. Sometimes there's a lot of skill and work that goes into all these different sort of plates and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's something that that comes with time and age, experience in the kitchen, and really learning not to over manipulate products,
Yeah.
right, and ingredients. And I think that shows a lot of like a poise and restraint, a lot of maturity actually, to do that and to keep it simple, because there's less to hide behind as well, right, when it comes to keeping it simple. And I've been following you on Instagram since I hopped on, and I've always appreciated your plating and your style. So to see where you're going with the fire cooking and everything, that's really cool. And
Thank you.
yeah, and I like that. I was on your website and it stated, you like to like fermented foods, pickling and stuff like that. That kind of ties into clean eating, right? And you're eating more plant-based now.
For me, it's not a phase. It's not a trend. It's something that it's been around for forever. So it's not something that, there's normally an element of a ferment or a pickle on a dish because it enhances that dish. But the other side of it is the nutritional value of going down that road kind of thing. So, and for myself, yeah, I very much try to eat as clean and as natural as I can. I'm probably, a lot of my time out at home is pretty much plant-based. But when I'm in work, it's kind of, so between the two, there's a kind of nice natural balance between, a balanced diet. There is meat there. There is a bit of fish there. There is a lot of vegetables, a lot of, some ferments and pickles. I'm actually sharing a kitchen at the moment with this great little like Korean family that are doing like a pop-up here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, every day is kimchi day. You know, I'm getting tons of the stuff, and it is awesome. It's fantastic. So yeah, there is that. For me, the two work hand in hand. So there is a big clean eating, nutritional sort of side of things, but there's also, if you can with incorporating that into dishes, it really does make a difference. It really does enhance flavors. But it's knowing it's that, you know, it's all very well sort of playing around with these things and experimenting. That's how we learn, kind of thing. But I don't do things for the sake of, I'm not going to ferment a mouse ear or something crazy and then stick it on an ice cream. It's kind of, I think I think over time you kind of learn where you're going to go with this, and you get comfortable with it. And I'm kind of where I want to be with it. So I don't go crazy with stuff, but I keep within certain parameters, and, you know, that works, this works. You know, I do play around with certain things. I mean, I've got a massive batch of ancho chili, koji hot sauce on at the moment. Awesome. And that is, it's really, you know, it's coming on so well. But then that's, you know, that comes with age, and, you know, I've made tons of mistakes, you know, but with that, you carry on sort of playing around with it, and, you know, you kind of learn, don't you? Yeah. So back to the original, they're hand in hand for me.
Yeah, for sure. I like to eat a lot of fermented foods. I definitely gravitate towards quality fish sauce, and you know, I make all my own hot sauces for all the, you know, probiotic qualities as well with the fermentation, and it enhances all of the you know, the nutrients you get out of it, right? So yeah. So I like to go that route. I definitely could eat a lot cleaner myself. That is for sure. But so I saw that, you know, one thing I noticed as a follower of yours on Instagram, and someone who's kind of got into, you know, the field. I do a lot of filming and photography now as well, that I transitioned out of the kitchen, and pretty much what I do. But I've always been a fan of your work and your photos. And I saw on your website that you actually had to choose, you know, you were like, do I go into photography as a young pup, or do I go into cooking? You chose cooking, but now with social media, it kind of came full circle. Can you tell me a little bit about your love for photography, Chef?
Yeah, so at a very early age, I kind of, cut a long story short, I sort of traveled. I bummed around Greece for a couple of years. And when I came back, it was a case of, well, I can't really carry on doing this. So I need to sort of knuckle down. And, you know, I was really keen on, I mean, at the time it was like fashion and photography. And I loved the whole photography thing. And in the end, the cooking won. But the photography just stayed with me. I've always liked taking, and I don't have any decent equipment, or I do everything on an iPhone. But I suppose it's that sort of artistic kind of side of things, of taking a great image of, not just, I mean, food. If I'm out and about, sometimes I see something cool, I'll take a quick snap of it. But the photography is always kind of it's always there. I follow a few great photographers as well, so I do have an interest. It's always been there. I mean, I probably would have made more money being a photographer, but it's done now.
Yeah, when you try to hire, you know, a videographer or photographer, it definitely gets up there in price when, especially when the wife wants to do family photos. I'm like, how much?
Yeah, exactly.
Every season, right?
Yeah.
More family photos every season than some chefs change their menus. But yeah. So let's get little weird with these questions. So I call this sneakerhead. Are you familiar with a sneakerhead is, Chef?
Sneaker,
Sneakerhead,
as
tennis shoes,
like trainers.
trainers. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what we
yeah, yeah,
call
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
That's what we call them where you're from. Trainers. All right. So uh, speaking of fashion, speaking of style and comfort as well, what are you wearing in the kitchen, Chef?
I actually wear. I've got two. So I wear Birkenstocks,
Mm.
um, but they've got like a range of like boots kind of thing. So they're pretty cool. They're really comfortable. So it's cross between them and Air Force One. So I
Okay.
do the two. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
sneakerhead. That's the trainer head. Oh, okay. Air Force
Right. Okay.
Ones. Yeah, those are really big here, mostly on the East Coast. But there's a rapper that had there's a whole song about Air Force Ones here back in the day. So let me see, what, 20 years ago now? I think it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Nelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, between those two, that's what gets me through the day, kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the style and the comfort type of thing. I feel like we all get kind of pigeonholed into having to wear these certain shoes. I mean, obviously, it helps with the non-slip if you're in a really busy kitchen, right? With
Yeah.
oil spills and stuff everywhere. But if you're in a kitchen that's mainly clean and everyone's working and is focused and is aware of their surroundings, I think you can get away with wearing shoes.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I guess it
definitely.
depends where you're at, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I stopped wearing kind of conventional clog slip-ons years ago, years and years ago. I just felt that I needed to be, you need comfort. It needs to, you're on your feet for a long time. So hence that's why I had two pairs because I like to change them every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So it just keeps your, the structure of your feet. You know, if you carry on wearing the same shoes, sometimes it does kind of mold your feet a certain way. So that's why I kind of chop and not in the middle of service, I don't change my shoes, but every now and then I'll swap them over.
How long on this ticket, Chef? Hold on, I gotta go change my shoes.
I know, he's sorting his shoes out. He's gone again.
Cool. So what is your go-to cookbook or resource?
Yeah, so I'd say Instagram is a real good one, because I think with yourself and Chef's Roll, there was a lot of us all kind of started at the same time. Or what's been interesting is over the years, I've seen us all kind of grow, and it's kind of, there's like almost like a little hub of the same accounts, isn't there? And that's been good, because whether it's about being inspired. So you're not copying dishes, you're taking elements of dishes, and that's what I think, that's what I very much like to do. I want people to look at my dishes and be inspired by it, and if they go and replicate the same dish in their own interpretation, that's amazing. Books, definitely North by Gunnar Clarkson, which is he's got the restaurant deal in Iceland. That's probably one of my real go-to books. I love that book. Pigs, Pickles and Whiskey. Okay. Been looking at that one a lot. I can't remember the author of that one though. Sat Baines is always a good one.
I just thought you were going to be like, well, I get it from you. So,
and there's also, there's Chef Ron. There's those videos.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I would ever be so honored that you absolutely would want to go to war with. You got 500 covers on the books, and you just only two other people that you're going to cook with. Who would it be?
I mean, I'm really fortunate that I work with some great guys. I mean, I've got a hub now of, there's a lot of good guys around me, all doing different things. So when, we've got something coming up or something's going on, there's a lot of good guys I can tap into now. Right. So there's a guy that I work with called we work occasionally called Sander. He's over at the Tram Shed in Shoreditch. He's awesome. He's solid. He's a really good guy. We've only been working together a couple of years, but he's a really good. I mean, he's all over the fire. He's a solid guy. Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, Andrew Clark. That's somebody that I work with a lot now. We do a bit of consultancy and pop-ups and stuff. That's somebody definitely. And that's almost like the old team that was at St. Leonard. So it's Sander and Andrew. And yeah, I'd say those two definitely. Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing.
Boiled over. Give me an example of a time where you kind of just lost your lid in the kitchen, chef. You can keep it PG. You can go TVMA.
Well, do you know what? I mean, it's been a long time. Long time. I mean, I changed the way that I do things, my approach to things, my thinking, my mindset. It would have been a very long time ago. Because what I focus on, I like to have good people around me. If we're going to spend all this time doing what we love, then have good people, have good attitude. They don't even necessarily need, amazing skill set. They just need to be a good character. So in regards to losing it, boiling over, wow, there was a time. It was an open kitchen. And this is like about 15 years ago. It was an open kitchen. There was set times for staff tea and stuff like that. And I was in the middle of the service, and I kept seeing out the back of my the corner of my eye, this guy popping up and down. He's a little, I think it was a little Italian guy, and he kept going up and down. I thought, what the hell is he doing? And then I finished what I was doing, and I went around the corner, and I could see he had a plate of it was like chicken wings or something, and he was literally sort of coming up, like making sure that he could be seen, and then he was going back down and eating the chicken. And he saw me coming, and he started running off, and I literally I look back now, it's funny, but it's not funny. I grabbed the plate of chicken wings and literally launched it towards him, and these chicken wings went shooting everywhere. And and it was but like I said, it's not something that was a long time ago, and I barely raise my voice now. It's just not you don't get the best from people. As long as it goes back to having the right people and the right attitude, then you don't necessarily, you need a certain element of discipline. But if you've got the right people, then you don't have to have a real enforcement of it, because they've got a good attitude and they want to be doing what you're doing. So you don't have to. So I believe it all goes hand in hand. It's tough. It's not easy to find good people and have that kind of atmosphere. But yeah, the chicken was a long time ago.
Yeah, respect. We've all been there, chef. I know I have. And I think back and I look back and I think, man, I can't believe I acted that way. That was immature of me. My response to how that cook or server was acting, right? So it was that was bad on my part, So I view it as a growth, and I love to see where your mind's at now. And I think that's positive, and it goes from hiring correctly, right, and having the right team around you. So
yeah, I think our industry is changing massively, and our approach to it's changing. It has to change. We can't carry on as we were sort of 15 years ago. It has to change. But then there needs to be an element of it's subject to kind of a little bit of abuse if there isn't an element of discipline there, because of the way that we do things, and we do have to be quite militant. So it is a juggling act trying to get those things right. But I'm fortunate that I've not thrown anything, kicked anything. I broke a couple of toes years ago. Yeah, I've done that a few times, kicked a few fridges. But yeah, I don't need to now, which is nice, which is refreshing. I don't need that.
That's super awesome. Tell me, so does I see yoga Padawan on your Instagram, and I was just looking it up right now to make sure I got that right. But do you do yoga? Because I've been really wanting to get into yoga and meditation and everything. I don't know if it's just where I'm at in my life. You know, I'm 38, pushing 39, just trying to find an inner peace. But can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been practicing for about 5 years now.
Mm.
It's got to be 5 years, and I practice twice a day. So as soon as I get up, when I finish up in the evening. So even if it's, I say Padawan because it is in, you know, I'm always going to be an apprentice. I'm always a trainee. And even if it's just 20 minutes, you know, when you get home from work, just to kind of stretch out and just kind of, you know, clear your head, because it's always a busy day, isn't it? And same with the morning. Sometimes I manage, you know, an hour and a half sometimes. But I've found for me, it's just a great way to start your day. It's a great way to finish. You know, I'm not talking scented candles and yoga pants. Do you know what I mean? I'm not kind of pouncing around. You know, I just roll a mat out and have a good stretch kind of thing. So for me, it's helped me enormously, and especially with you know, there is the kind of the mind and the well-being, but physically as well. You know, we spend a lot of time with, you know, hunched over and rounded backs, and so, you know, now I'm 45 and I kind of run around the kitchen like a 19-year-old. It does help. It really does help. But I think sometimes we all think it's kind of very, like I said, yoga pants, scented candles, you know, tree pose all day. It can be whatever you want it to be. And that's the beautiful thing about yoga, is that you can, you know, you don't have to be any sort of shape, size, or you can literally take what you want from it. And that's exactly what I do. I mean, pre-COVID, I used to go to classes and stuff like that. But then through the whole of COVID, I've been doing a lot off my own back. And now I've got like a nice little routine with it all, you know, so I would definitely, even if it's just, you know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, there's so many apps and stuff out there. There's so much, there's so much free stuff out there. You know, there's a lot of people willing to share their stuff. So it's quite cool. Yeah. So I you know, do it a lot.
Awesome. So how I like to end it is, what is one thing that you want everyone to know about you, Chef?
Well, I tell you what, there is. This is the only interview I've ever done, in a sense, with a Zoom. I don't touch them with a barge pole. I don't go anywhere near them. So, you know, there's one thing. No, the whole Zoom thing, interviews. I'm very much a behind the scenes guy. I quite like it like that. I'm very grounded person, very grounded. I like to very much look after myself and others around me. I'm very focused on my family. I have two amazing children. Well, my daughter's 18, my son's 6. Incredible wife. So family is hugely important. And I try to balance that with, I'm very fortunate to work in an industry that I very much love and have a passion for. And, you know, this many years into it, and still, you know, love it. It's a great place to be. So, you know, I like to balance all of these things, and, you know, it works well. It works well for me. Yeah.
Cool. Where can we find you, Chef?
So I'm Chef Daniel Watkins on Instagram. And I've also recently got a website up and running. So chefdanielwatkins.com. I had to think about that one, didn't I?
It's new. It's new.
It's new. Yeah, it's fairly new. So there's still a lot I want to do with it, because at the moment it's just kind of there's a couple of backstories and stuff like that on there. So yeah, it's just some content I want to start adding to it and things like that, just to kind of break away a little bit from the Instagram, just give people a bit more of an insight into what I do and how I do things and what goes on. Hence, that's why we're sort of chatting, which is amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's a good website. I went over it, and you put a lot of meat in there, and it's well written, and I like the.
Thanks.
You also see all your beautiful work, your beautiful photos. Yeah, I have an 18-year-old as well. I know I don't look like it either, probably. So
yeah.
18's a tough year, man. I thought the toddler was tough. 18 seems to be the tough one for me.
Well, I mean, both. I don't know if both my children are on the spectrum. So my daughter is kind of sort of Asperger's, a lot of anxiety, that kind of, and then my son's the other end of the spectrum, which is kind of more severe. But between the two of them, I mean, there's such a massive gap. Yeah, I mean, an 18-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son, it's just kind of, it's hard work.
Yeah, I feel it, Chef. My son as well is on the Asperger's spectrum. So he's 18.
Oh, okay.
But he's working, and I got him. He's working now and doing things like that. So he's capable of doing some things, but he's definitely
amazing.
Has come a long way. Keeps to himself. Rather play video games and not. He won't talk to you for a week if you let him. But
yeah, that happens. Yeah. So yeah. Did he go to mainstream school?
School, yes. I married in. He was 14 when I came in.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was a lot of the early stuff I didn't experience. But at 14, he was already in school, and he'd still pretty much keeps to himself. He did have a friend or two, and they don't really try to hang out. They would just kind of talk via video games and stuff. But
yeah.
But it's been a lot of growth for me as a dad, trying to figure it out. And we have a 11-year-old and a 2-year-old. So it's just very, very different approach with him than the other two, because they don't have autism, so it's just very, very different, and like you said, both your kids are on different sides of the spectrum, so the approach must be very different.
Oh yes, they're completely different. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the whole autism now is massively on the increase, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I mean, the numbers is growing, so there's got to be something that we're whether it's diet, whether it's there's something going on that it's happening more and more now, isn't it? A lot of the diagnosis is being recognized a lot more now. So, that's why I sort of asked if he was in sort of mainstream, because unfortunately a lot of kids that are on the spectrum do end up in mainstream school, and they find it really tough. It's really hard on them. I mean, we homeschooled my daughter for must have been about 6 years in the end. We took her out of school and homeschooled her because she was having a really tough time with it. But yeah, no, it's tough, isn't it? Really tough. It can be tough, but it's also very it's amazing, isn't it? Diagnosis is being recognized a lot more now. So that's why I sort of asked if he was in sort of mainstream, because unfortunately a lot of kids that are on the spectrum do end up in mainstream school, and they find it really tough. It's really hard on them. I mean, we homeschooled my daughter for must have been about 6 years in the end. We took her out of school and homeschooled her because she was having a really tough time with it. But yeah, no, it's tough, isn't it? Really tough. It can be tough, but it's also very it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, for him, it's more communication. He doesn't show emotion really, and he doesn't so I don't know. He just really it's hard to explain because he doesn't really like, I don't know, he won't express anything, and he doesn't show that he really like processes what you're saying. But when he does like write out things, or like he'll write a paper or something, and you'll read it and you're like, who are you? You know, like, this is not, when I ask you a question in person, it's mumbled, it's jumbled, it's like you can barely understand him. But when he writes, he'll write some of his work for school. I'll read it and I'm like, whoa, like, you're so much smarter than me. There's no, I have no idea who is this person too. You know, I'm like, I don't, do I know you? You know, so it's like, man, am I doing a good job? Do I know my son? You know, so it's different. You know, my daughter, on the other hand, she's an open book, you know, and she'll just tell us everything and show us her work and be super proud of it, you know. You like, so it's crazy. And he won't even like study, and he'll like get A's on everything. Pull all-nighters gaming, and I'm like, you know, try to teach him you can't do that. At least when you get older, it's gonna hurt you. Because when you're young, I guess you still got that energy. But hey, you know, we've really going over. I know you're probably really busy, Chef, and going over your time here. I really appreciate you taking the time out and coming on the podcast. You know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, thank you. Like I said, it's the first time I've actually kind of sort of stepped away from behind the camera, so to speak. So it's been really cool, and good to meet you as well. Yeah, so yeah, thank you.
And if we ever can get Chef's Roll, you know, out there to do some filming, I definitely want to push to get you in it. So, or even maybe I'm gonna try to push to get them to fly you out if it works for your schedule. If anything we have in the future, if you're down.
Yeah, I've actually been talking to, there's some guys, I need to chase that soon, but they're based in Silicon Valley, around that sort of way.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but that's kind of on the cards for possibly November.
Okay.
So it could be coming out your way.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. It's happened a few times. I think I was meant to come out there last year, but COVID and everything, that kind of, well, there was loads of things that got stopped last year.
Right.
Yeah, I was meant to go to India. There was a couple of other things as well. But everything, just the whole world stopped, didn't it? But yeah, that'd be amazing. I'd love to. I mean, it's the States is somewhere that I really, really want to visit. It's just one of those kind of, and you've got the whole, like the California and then New York, and Boston as well. They're the kind of three places that I'd love to go and visit. So hopefully, you know, I'll get out there one day. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, is everything you needed from this all good?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it can go on and on, right? So the this is just a casual conversation. You know, obviously it's an interview style, so I ask questions and stuff like that. But it's you know, I just want to make sure that you address anything that you wanted to say. You know, the kitchen speakers is, you know, I interview. You know, it doesn't matter if you know, you got 1,000 followers or if you know, or 300,000, 1 million followers, right? So I just want to give voice to some cooks, some chefs who are trying to break the mold with either their product or their pop-ups or whatever, and just really express themselves. And, you know, being blessed with a platform is tremendous, and having the capabilities that I have, and no longer having to work those long, gruesome hours. So to be able to kind of share that with other people, I don't like the word exposure, right? That's terrible, right? How many times have we been taken advantage of for exposure? So I don't like to do that, but I want to give a voice to people, and why not do it via conversation, and actually see a face. And it's also therapy for me, man. I'm cooped up in the test kitchen all the time, right? So we're all in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Good to have a conversation and just really let it out. So this is where I went, why I started this podcast, and just really wanted to give a voice. Kitchen speakers.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's cool. It's
yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna interview like real estate agents and doctors and talk about, the chiropractic needs I'm reaching out for chefs and stuff like that, because I know my hands would be aching when I wake up. So, just advice on things like that and everything, just anything that touches our world,
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Chef.
Excellent. No, thank you very much. Good to meet you.
Bye.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Peace.